ruler of the Han Imperial fiefdom of Dai. When archaeologists opened the burial vault, they found the body of Lady Xin Shui immersed in some sort of mysterious white fluid. When they cleared the fluid away from the corpse, they were shocked to find that the 2100-year-old body of Lady Xin Shui still looked like the body of someone who had recently died. Her joints were limber and flexible, her features were all intact down to her hair and eyelashes, and there was even still red blood in her veins. In fact, the 2100-year-old body was so well preserved that doctors were able to perform an autopsy on it, removing the still preserved organs to determine that her cause of death had been a heart attack. Scientists were baffled as to how the 2100-year-old body could still be so well preserved, and began to investigate the unusual white fluid that filled Lady Xin Shui's burial vault. However, the strange liquid could not be identified. Even more bizarre, eyewitnesses said that the liquid turned brown upon being exposed to air. Many of the scientists who opened the tomb reported experiencing a strange rash on their hands after coming in contact with the mysterious burial fluid of Lady Xin Shui. To this day, the body of Lady Xin Shui is the most well-preserved ancient body ever discovered. But just how the body was so well preserved remains a mystery. The Tomb of Sunken Skulls. In 2009 in Motala, Sweden, archaeologists discovered a sealed stone structure in the bottom of what had once been a shallow lake. When they cracked open the enclosure, they found the 8,000-year-old skulls of 11 people, including men, women, and children. However, this find became truly bizarre once scientists began to study the bones. They were able to determine that the 11 people had been spiked through the head, burned, and then locked inside the sealed tomb. For some reason, one of the skulls even had parts of another skull placed inside it. Theories about the origins of the skulls range from strange ancient burial practices to warriors bringing spiked skulls back to the camp as war trophies. However, no one knows for sure. The fate of the people found in the Tomb of Sunken Skulls still remains a mystery. The Jamestown Cannibals. In 1607, Jamestown, Virginia became the first permanent English settlement in America. Unfortunately, the Jamestown settlers were not really prepared for the harsh new environment of the Americas. Many in the group were wealthy and not used to hard labor. They knew little about how to hunt or even farm the new land. The Jamestown settlers also abused and took advantage of the Native American tribes who tried to help them. The Jamestown residents soon found themselves isolated and left with no steady supply of food. This period of time became known as the Starving Time. The Starving Time lasted from 1609 to 1610, and it is estimated that during this time nearly 80% of the Jamestown residents died of either disease or starvation. It has been reported in 5 different historical accounts that during the Starving Time of 1609 to 1610, the desperate Jamestown residents resorted to cannibalism to survive. However, no evidence of this gruesome story had ever been found. That is, until the discovery of some human remains at the Jamestown site in 2012. The body was that of a 14-year-old girl, whom the researchers called Jane. Jane's body had been dumped in a trash deposit along with dogs, cats, horses, rats, and other animals that had probably been butchered for food by the desperate Jamestown residents. Upon examining the body, scientists found multiple chop and cut marks on the girl's skull that were made by one or more assailants after she died. Anthropologist Doug Owsley said about the injuries to Jane's body, quote, "They were clearly interested in cheek meat, muscles of the face, tongue, and brain. There were also numerous cuts, saw marks, and gouges along her lower jaw made by the tip of a knife to get to the meat, and to remove throat tissue and the tongue," unquote. Owsley said he thinks a meat cleaver was probably used to remove the tissue. Just how many of the dead bodies at Jamestown were actually cannibalized is unknown, but researchers do not believe that Jane was an isolated incident. The Ashkelon Infant Grave. In 1988, in Ashkelon, Israel, anthropologists from Harvard University made a gruesome discovery. In the sewer under the site of an ancient Roman bathhouse, they found the remains of over 100 dead babies. Even more disturbing, it was determined that the 100 infant bodies showed no sign of sickness or disease. In all likelihood, the babies had been murdered. They had been placed in the Roman sewer and left to die. Follow-up studies by forensic anthropologists found that the babies had died within their first week of life. Archaeologists have theorized that the Roman bathhouse may have been the site of an ancient brothel. So the sewer beneath the bathhouse might have served as a grisly method of birth control for the prostitutes that worked there. Since abortions were too dangerous at the time, researchers theorized that the prostitutes would carry their babies to term, give birth, and then place their babies in the sewer beneath the bathhouse to die. However, this is only a theory, and little evidence has been found to show that the bathhouse was indeed a brothel. The mystery of the Ashkelon infant mass grave remains unsolved, and the Ashkelon site has the grim distinction of being the largest mass baby grave ever discovered. The Devil's Bible. The Codex Gigas, or Devil's Bible, is a Latin Bible that is believed to have been created in the early 12th century in Bohemia. At a size of 36 inches tall, 20 inches wide, and 9 inches thick, it is the largest surviving ancient European manuscript. The 310 pages of the Codex Gigas are said to be made from the skins of over 160 donkeys, and the book is so heavy that it requires 2 people to lift. The Codex Gigas is often referred to as the Devil's Bible, possibly because of the strange legend surrounding the book and the fact that for some unknown reason, it features a striking full-page drawing of the devil on one of its pages. A strange supernatural legend follows the Devil's Bible. It is said that the book was written by a monk who had been sentenced to be walled in as punishment for breaking his monastic vows. In an attempt to save his life, the monk vowed that if he was given just one night, he would create a book so amazing that it would glorify the monastery throughout the land. After toiling over the book throughout the night, the monk soon realized that he would never be able to finish the book by morning, so he offered a prayer to Satan himself, offering to give the devil his soul if the devil would finish the book for him before morning. So the story goes that Satan finished the book and signed it with a self-portrait. At least that's the legend. But the true mystery of the Devil's Bible comes from the fact that no one knows exactly how it was created. Scientists theorize that the book took over 20 years to complete. However, handwriting analysis of the book has shown that the text was written by only one author. The handwriting does not change at all throughout the book and shows none of the normal human handwriting signs of time, like changing moods, fatigue, or aging. This would seem impossible if the Devil's Bible was written over 20 years. After all, it's normal for all human handwriting to change at least slightly over time. How the Devil's Bible was created remains a mystery to this day.